My name is Nassim Sabs.
In America, what they do to the dead, the children they kill in these bases, and the adults that are sacrificed on their satanic altars, they grind them up and put them in the food supply. In particular, our meat supply by companies such as Minneapolis, Minnesota. The government refuses to do anything about this because they're all complicit. Meanwhile, we're saturated daily with their attempts in their war on the people of our country. They pasteurize our food, which takes all the nutrients and vitamins out of it. They fluoridate our water, which is poisoning and killing people. They're blocking out the sun. They're keeping vitamin D3 away from people and many other vitamins. Humans need the sun to survive. I can't even remember such a terrible time on it the last 12 months, 10 months, where it's just constantly the sun being chemtrailed, sprayed out. Chemtrails constantly going, constantly, every day. They're attacking us by our air, our food, our water. Then they try to persuade you and bully you into getting vaccines that will kill you, to give you cancers and tumors, nanobots and microbots and chips inside your body. It never ends, folks. We are at war. Who are we at war against? Against this reptilian regime that dominates our country. The people have been screaming for years that humans are possessed by reptiles. And you guys have laughed and mocked and ridiculed. And now you're finally getting it. There's a lot of you waking up because thanks to HD TV, people can see for their own selves that people's eyes on TV are not normal. They turn from normal round pupils to slits. You can watch them shapeshift on TV. And I have on my websites, I have articles on how they soul scalp humans, how they take humans over. And I was warning all last year about how the push was on that all those who had joined secret societies were being soul scalped. And for the most part, most of them have now been. We're at war against Lucifer's reptilian fallen angels. When Lucifer fell, and he was cursed to be a snake, a reptile, it's all metaphor, it affected all of the angels that were with him at the time, and they all became snakes. They became reptiles. They lost their angelic looks, and they became reptilians. That's where they're from, folks. They were once former angels. Now they're the offspring of these former fallen angels. And there's various different types of them, just because of the breeding and the generations over the years of these fallen angels that were cursed to become reptiles. They take over human bodies. They operate in human bodies. Look at George Bush Sr. Most of them aren't even human. Obama, he's just a clone. Hillary, she's cloned. They also use doubles and lookalikes of both of them. All the celebrities, most of them have been replaced by tranny doubles. There's a thing going on with this tranny thing. They're replacing the real celebrities with trannies, lookalikes. When a reptilian takes over a human body, the human is pushed out. Their whole consciousness is pushed out of their own body. And that entity takes over their body. It's like being demon-possessed. They no longer have control of their body. This thing, this monster, this being, takes over their body, has full access to their memories, their thoughts, their brain. They become that person, or who that person used to be. They take over. What happens to the person that got pushed out of their own body? They end up, if they're not killed, they end up in the fifth dimension, which is kind of like a neutral dimension. It's not heaven, it's not hell. That's the real fifth dimension. The New Agers want you to think the fifth dimension is some angelic la-la dimension that everyone's going to ascend to. The only ones that go into the fifth dimension are people that have been pushed out of their bodies. They've been soul scalped. I hate to tell the New Agers that, because what they're really embracing is for themselves to be soul scalped and taken over by an alien entity and then pushed out of their own bodies and into the fifth dimension, where there's various levels of the fifth dimension. You can end up in a hellish one or a not-so-bad one. The kids usually end up in the not-so-bad ones. There are angels there that you typically will try to protect the children. There are angelic cities there that the children can get to. But it usually doesn't fare too well for adults. It's a war against humans, folks. So look at General Mad Dog Mattis, his lizard tongue, his split eyes. Comey, his split eyes. I have split eyes. They've been soul scalped. Someone's looking at you with split eyes and talking, they're not human. That human's been pushed out. People need to stand up and start fighting back instead of just, oh, we need to pray for our enemies. Let's form a circle. Let's form a prayer circle. Meanwhile, Father's saying, who will stand up for me against the wicked? And let's go form a prayer circle. What are you praying for? These beings are going to be judged and cast into their own hell. They're not humans. What are you praying for them for? Wake up, folks, and realize the war is on and get busy fighting against them. Ask the Father to send his destroyer angels against those who harm children, who kidnap and abduct humans and put them in these underground bases and hold them in cages. Use them on experiments. Kill them and put them on meat hooks and grind them up and put them in the world's meat supply, in the food chain. I wish people would wake up and look at the war around you, because it's against us. It's humans. It's us against them. Those who want to enslave us and destroy us are not human. Look at all the liberals, the libtards. Look at mainstream media. People who post most of the garbage. They're not human. One thing I've really noticed about daytime TV is that even the small-time actors, you look at all day long the college commercials that come on TV or the law firm, legal firm commercials that come on TV, they're not even human actors. They look like Barbie dolls. They're using synthetics as actors. They use the fake plastic synthetics. That's what most of it is, the fake and the plastic. They don't have to pay them, probably. That people are using them. Cleveland TV is really bad. It's all fakes and synthetics during the day. And then you look at all these news anchors they bring in, they replace all these news reporters. Fox is always bringing in new news reporters. Fox has a big thing for using synthetics and trannies, posing as women. Fox is huge on that one. Most of the women on TV are trannies. They're trying to eliminate and wipe out humans on Earth, folks. Stand up and get involved with the war against them, or just become another victim of theirs. Anyway, folks, time's already running out. And when you go multiple generations of clones, and this is something that they're learning, they're just not as good. You can't get a good copy of a human off, different generations away from the host. The real Hillary Clinton is dead. She died back in 2012. And so they've been using clones of her since. And when you keep cloning and cloning and cloning off clones, those generations of clones, they're just not reliable. They're just not very good. I think they're learning it. And that's why they didn't clone Trump. They mind-wired him. And I came out with that a couple of years ago. I talk about it in my book, Interview with the Devil, because as far as I know, nobody else has ever brought it up. No one else is talking about it. Nobody else knows about it. But he has been mind-wired. He's the new tech. Probably because they're realizing through all these bad cloning generations of Hillary that it's just not reliable to have them in the public so much and so often because they're unreliable. Where does Hillary get her authority? Who does she work for? Like I've said, she is the Queen's pawn. She works for the Queen. If you look at Bill, and they're both CIA agents, and the CIA is run by the Pope, the Vatican, all right? So they're both CIA and they're with the Queen. And that Oxford scholarship that Clinton went to college on, that's tied to the Queen's faction. And so they're both. Because, everybody in D.C., you're either CIA or you're a Jesuit. That's pretty much how it runs. And you look at the White House staff, the White House counsel, and they're like Jesuits or CIA, all of them. They're intelligence. So I've been screaming about that since 2001. It's not Russia that destroys America. Everyone thinks because the Bible says a nation from the north, and the Mason Hal Lindsey gets on a globe, takes his pencil and draws from America over Canada to the other side of the world and ends up in Russia and says, oh, it's Russia. They're the ones from the north. Why isn't it Canada? And then you have the Russians bringing in their equipment over the Canadian border. It's not them. It's not them. You look at the Strong's word for north. It's the hidden recesses of the north, which is space. And, I'm just going to get more into that next week. But even with all of Russia's might, they couldn't destroy this country in an hour. There's no humans on this planet that could destroy it in an hour, short space of time. But an alien attack, and also the Joel 2 army from the north. These are alien attacks. Alien attacks, folks. That's why the kings of the earth are shocked. They're shocked that the Babylon has been destroyed. Think about it. Do you know how long it takes to plan a war around this world? You don't just plan a war and strike anybody and nobody knows about it. Like, if America's getting ready to pummel a country like Iraq and Syria and all the countries they've pummeled, everybody knows it's coming. It takes them a while to plan it. You got to get your supply lines going, your troops in position, your ships in position, your planes. It doesn't take anybody by surprise. Everybody knows it's coming. But if you look at the destruction of America in Revelation chapter 18, it happens so quickly, everybody is shocked. The kings of the world are shocked because nobody knew it was coming, which means it's a total non-human event. Non-human event. So it's either God or it's God. And he's going to use fallen angels, what we call aliens in space, to come down and destroy America. That's why everybody's shocked. Yeah. No one shocks mankind like God does. I'll tell you that. They've got a real show coming. And it's all right there. It's just when the Father opens your eyes to see it. Until he does, you won't. You just get blinded by the words you read. And you don't see it. And then the light bulb goes off. You have one of those light bulb moments. Oh, I get it now.